I'm hungrier now than ever before, even than when I was 27. All true leaders constantly keep educating yourself.
All right.
It's an honor.
Keep
and thank you for
crushing
coming
it.
out here for me.
My pleasure.
Very entrepreneurial, the way you set it up.
Hey everybody, Tom Zenner, Jetset TV. We are at NBAA 2023 with keynote speaker Daymond John.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tom.
Great seeing you, Daymond. All right, we got the show behind us.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to stroll through?
No, I'm not. I just walked in. It looks impressive. I want to see some of those little one-man, woman, crafts.
Yeah.
Because I can get to New York quicker without having to have a pilot and a helicopter. So.
Right? Anything to make life a little bit easier, especially with your schedule. And we'll talk about that a little bit, but a couple big covers coming up too. A repeat on Jetset, and then Inked.
Yeah, and Inked. Yeah, I finally get to, I'm on Disney, so we don't show a lot of my tattoos, but I have what I'm proud of,
That's a good point.
So, yeah.
On Shark Tank, you're looking tight in the suit and everything.
Yeah,
right?
you don't want to show them the neck or the
Right.
all the way the full sleeves or whatever.
But it's funny, you've been on that show so long and it's got such a following. People don't know that side of you as much.
No.
People that just follow that show, they see the corporate look, serious investor, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we air, I think, 60 times a week on CNBC, so you have me just sitting there like this in a suit the whole time.
Right. No, and it's so intense, that filming process, too, for that show. I don't think people understand, right? You're grinding it that whole month of June.
Yeah,
Get pretty comfortable with that Sony lot, don't you?
Yeah. Filming, by the time I get in the chair, 9 o'clock. By the time I get out of the chair, it's 7 o'clock, and we have a 1 hour break to call everybody we need to call, go to the bathroom, and get back in the chair and start doing math again.
Start doing some more negotiations, tell people they're crazy.
Yep.
Give them the big no. Obviously, we're at this show, Jetset Magazine, a lot of things tie in there. Man, it'd be cliche to say that your life is probably a lot easier, you're more productive because of private jet travel.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's just talk about it for real, because you've got so many things going on. And if you're flying from New York to Vegas to do this, that's 6 hours, you got to be productive. So what's it like for you when you're traveling?
Well, it depends, right? Because I try to go, I book as needed. I used to have, playing here and there, and I found that it got me in trouble.
Too easy?
It is too easy. It's access to, it's like having a buffet, right? It's not the jet, or it's not the aircraft. It's the being able to go to Vegas and spend $500,000 at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
One
of the downsides of being that successful, right? You can do it.
Yeah, it is. And then, but of course, when you're young, when you first buy it, you don't think about it in the way that you should think about it from an aspect of being smart, right? Because to have an aircraft, of course, you need to either save time and utilize what are the benefits of having this, right? Time, of course, and there's ways that people, they incentivize you to have these things so that you put more people to work.
Right. And you've probably just grown as a businessman so much, because when you were starting out with FUBU, a private jet had to seem like you made it to the top. Now you've got to use it as a tool.
I had to have 7 homes. I had to have a private jet. I had to have all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you start to realize what's important to you, the jet, the need for it is a different need. It's safety, right? It's getting there in time, right? It's getting there efficiently. It's a lot of different other things.
Right. And then how many other people want to hitch a ride with you? Right? Going to Vegas? Got an extra seat?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Gosh, it's been, 11 years since we did this cover story with Jetset. And so much in the world has changed. You couldn't even just name one or two things. How do you keep up with this change? Because you have to. With all the businesses that you have, you have to stay really ahead of the game on everything. So is that just part of your nature?
No, I think that's why I'm actually here. And I think that's because all of us, all true leaders, constantly keep educating yourself. And now I think what's the most important part is being around other people. This working remote and working virtual stuff, it doesn't work. You're getting 20% out of your staff. And then you have young, brilliant people coming up who've never, think about the kids in high school, went to college now, they were in COVID times. They're not around people. They're looking at you on a screen. Right? So, listen, in aviation it's a little easier because it's pretty simple. This doesn't take off at this time, or they're very logistic heavy, so you can kind of do that from around the world. But when you're in a world of creative and innovation, you want to think of things. we're pack animals. You still have to be next to each other. So if you're on a Zoom for 1 hour with 30 people, who wants to interrupt the Zoom? But if you have 30 people in one room, and I go, hey man, listen, you know what we were just talking about over there? Why don't we talk about this tomorrow, or when you come up for lunch? I got a quick thing I want to ask you. You're not going to do that on Zoom.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, and you're old school, right? You're an entrepreneur. You got to be in the office.
But by the way, when Zoom starts bringing people back like they did, you got to look at that.
Sure, but how do you handle it with employees in businesses that you invest in? Do you make it pretty clear? You got to be at the office. You got to work. I'm expecting this, or does it scare you if they're into big time remote work?
Well, no. What I'm saying is we keep learning, right? We keep adjusting, and that's why I'm here, right? Because what happens is we no longer are in industries where we're all like in my business. You met everybody you need to know. We were between when I was in the purely clothing, from 42nd Street down to 24th Street. You go out to lunch, you're going to see everybody, you're going to pass by each other's offices and talk. You're no longer doing that. So you're trying to find things like NBAA to see your colleagues, or a mastermind or something like that, where you're seeing people on a continuing basis and not having a conversation. Oh, I think that guy's good or that girl's good, and then you go back, you don't have any data and information to follow up and no working relationship. So you're always tweaking things in business. Yeah. So will I bring my whole staff back? No. Will I bring some back? Yeah. For a little while? Yeah. Will I replace some who can't catch up and have to retrain others? Will I go down and start looking at other talent coming up? Yeah. You have to create a Frankenstein in your business. There's no one answer to it.
I think one cool thing about what you've done with your career is just how you evolve, right? Yeah. And now you're at a point, at least it seems like, where the types of businesses you want to be involved in have to stand for something, have to give back. So did you have an aha moment where you said, I've made the money I need, I'm going to make that switch, that transition, and this is what I'm looking for?
Yeah, actually, I have that moment every other year. When George Floyd happened, I remember one of the biggest banks in the world came to me and said, Daymond, we underwrite 500 of the top businesses in the world. We know they have an inner structure where they have to. Internally, they want to give to minority companies. We want to give you $2 billion worth of credit lines, put an M&A person over there with you, and we want you to absorb a bunch of minority companies so you can oversee them. We know that you'll deliver, and you go to a hotel company and say, hey, I want to do the drapes, I want to do your furniture, everything else. And I said, no. They said, why? I said, that's a 15 to 20 year commitment of running 7,000 people. Yeah, it sounds nice. But what would I do in my life? Like, my little girl is 7. I already lost my first marriage to various other things. What would I do with 9 or 10 or 20 homes? I'm not going to leave anything to anybody. So what would I do with an extra $1 billion? Yeah. A lot of people in business don't realize that until they get to a certain point of what are they really doing it for, right? So that's how I look at other businesses. I want to be in a business that I think is creating somewhat change, and if not, then I might as well then spend my money purely in philanthropy and helping people, or maybe my image helping little brown boys and girls who never saw somebody like me on TV unless they came from music, sports, or television. So it's really, what are you doing it for? Yeah, and you've got the platform, so I think you see that responsibility and you do it. As a young entrepreneur and businessman, you turn a company into 9 figures, value or more. That's rewarding. That's exciting. That's what you're here for. Is there a similarity in how rewarding doing what you're doing now is? Can you compare them? I haven't met anybody who haven't been successful, such as you, who are not doing something they're absolutely obsessed with and they love. I mean, I joke about how Kevin O'Leary, right, on the show, and you would say, well, he wants money. No. Kevin O'Leary loves complicated financial instruments. If you'll notice, because he loves to protect his downside and increase his upside, but he loves the game of chess on that. So you may look at it from face value and say, oh, he wants money. No, he loves to create a puzzle, right, to get that. That's a Rubik's Cube to him. So every business I failed at because my ego got in the way, where I was like, yeah, I'm Daymond John, I can do it. Or let me throw some more money at it. Or it sounds or looks like, matter of fact, any bad relationship I had also came the same, oh, she looks great. But from face value, it failed because I wasn't into it. Right.
But that's understandable because you're on TV. Things have worked out so often. So I think everybody has to go through that, maybe just understand that it does take the fundamentals.
Well, I only got on TV because after I had done really well with FUBU and failed a couple of times, and then with Ted Baker and Kappa, and then I came out with Coogee, I said, I want to start writing books about what entrepreneurship is. I never thought about being. First of all, did you ever think a show like Shark Tank, where we do exactly what we do every single day, would become a success?
Or run this long? I think it's just unbelievable.
So I only got on the show because I said I want to create books to show what entrepreneurship is about. So it really came out of purely my desire to educate people as an entrepreneur, and then I get on the show. So it all still came out of a love.
Plus you had to get cast. Do you remember the process of going through casting? And how many meetings that was?
There wasn't any. It was very few.
So they wanted you, huh?
They called me up. They said they want me. I said fine. They said you're gonna have to spend your own money. I said, fuck these guys. What's wrong with these people? Right? Then they called me back. They said, oh, just come on out. And I said, the only way I'm gonna come out and do your stupid little show is I gotta pitch Mark Burnett 3 smoking hot reality show ideas. And they said, okay, but you can't do any other show. And I said, I'm doing another show, 3 minutes, 3 separate, 3 minutes apiece, 3 separate times, 9 minutes total. Can't do any other show. I pass. Goodbye. They call me back. Well, what other show you doing? Yeah, I'm doing some girls named the Kardashians that we're kind of like working with. I'm going to be in their show, their first couple of episodes. They said, you can't do any other show. I said, all right, goodbye. Chloe found out. She fired me, and she said the world needs to know who I am, and she would never get in my way. And then I go out and do the damn sizzle reel. I mean, the pilot. It's never gonna work, of course. I go to lunch with Mark Burnett or breakfast. I tell him my 3 smoking hot ideas. He destroys them before even the orange juice comes. The show gets picked up.
Whatever happened to those Kardashian girls? What was their name? Did that amount to anything? They go anywhere?
They're doing all right these days.
See, that was your negotiating. That was your audition when you told those guys to go F themselves, right? They go,
no. They got all hot and heavy. You never tell people in Hollywood, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, but
they were like, oh, I really want him now. That was such a sharp answer.
Yes, exactly. No, that did it. I guarantee that triggered them for sure.
They got hot and heavy on that.
That could be your book. How to pass an audition.
How to shit on somebody.
Hey, speaking of Kevin O'Leary, would you do a licensing deal with him?
I actually would. You know, Kevin is really a great guy. He's my Uber driver, and he's a really great guy. So, but I would. You know, Kevin O'Leary he's one of my closest friends, believe it or not. And the fun thing about Kevin O'Leary, he's the only person who can curse you out with a twinkle in his eye, like Santa Claus cursing you out. And he'll talk about himself just as bad.
Yeah. No, the camaraderie's real. It has to be. You can't fake that. No way. You can't.
We've
spend
been together
that much time.
15 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
16 actually.
It's almost got to be like a second family.
It is. My kids go on vacation with Robert's kids, Cuban and I. We obviously hang out. Kevin is in Miami. We hang out the most. I go and get Barbara her meds when she doesn't take them. You know, we hang out a lot.
See, multitasking. They need you.
Yeah.
You probably get this question a million times, but the number probably always changes. Do you know how many businesses you've invested in?
No, not really. I think I'm at 106. But remember, you know, if you look at them, somebody, oh, that's a massive amount. No, 30% are doing really great, like Bombas, right? I don't need to call them. If I call them, I'll screw it up, right? 30% of The Walking Dead. Right? Now you got the 30% that are in that middle range that will move from this side
where
to
you
that
can really
side.
make an impact.
Well, you can make an impact, or you can say you're The Walking Dead. I mean, the concept is obviously you're into it 3 years because the IRS says it's an investment 3 years in. After that, it's a hobby, right? Whatever the case is. And you tell them you got a 3-year lifeline on this, and after 3 years, we're going to either move forward or not. You have options because you don't want to be, filing corporate filings for every one of these. You put them in the investment, and then you activate your option.
Yeah, Bombas. Do you wish you could bottle whatever that is that works with them? I mean, because if you think about it, that socks, right? And this thing is killing it.
You can't bottle entrepreneurship. You know, you can't buy their attitude. It sucks. And so, what are the number one brand in the number one company in Shark Tank history invested in? Ring is the number one.
Right.
It wasn't invested in, right? But Bombas socks number one. Scrub Daddy's number 2, right? It's a sponge and a sock, right? Bombas will give away, I think they hit the 100 million mark of giving away units, right? So, you know, the number is significantly high when you talk about revenue, but they're literally with their sleeves rolled up in the shelters. They don't just donate; they're there.
Right, and that gives you a win, a success story to show that what you want to do going forward can also be profitable, right, and make money.
Absolutely, but you got to think about why I was into it. I was into it 'cause I like the guys, but prior to that, before the really social media, I would never, all the money I gave away, I would never talk about it because it was like making money off the hardship of others, right? It's those people who are trying to give somebody a sandwich, a homeless person, and they're taking a picture while that person already feels hungry, has to take the sandwich. Now they're taking a picture. Look what I'm doing, great. So I never did that. We got a huge backlash over it, but I didn't care, right? But then when now, with all the layers of social media, people want to know what you're doing, and if it's user generated from the shelter saying, this is what we're doing, it's different. So they taught me a whole new way of doing business, and they don't deal with retail. So it showed me the difference. And so again, it's what I'm here for. It's what we're talking about, constantly re-educating yourself.
Yeah, how competitive are you guys on the stage, you and the fellow cast members? Does it get a lot of trash talking? You get after it a little bit?
I don't have any sibling, but I'm going to tell you something. Pretty much anybody here has sibling. You and your brother, you and your sister go and play a sport. You going to be nice to them?
Probably not.
I'm going to try to crack their head open, right? And you know that there's 10 million people watching you, and you have money at risk, and you have an ego that, why would you go with Lori? I'm clearly better than Lori. Well, Daymond, what are you talking about? Well, I got the #1 best-selling product in Shark Tank history. Well, Daymond, I got 12 of the top 20. Well, now everybody...
You got to. You're competitive people. That's how you measure themselves. How do you keep that edge? And are you as competitive and as driven as you were when you were grinding and building it? Does that leave? Does it get
No,
easy?
I'm hungrier now than ever before because I stopped drinking. I'm hungrier now than ever before, even than when I was 27. Not because what I was doing, I think that all of us as A-type personalities, the world has changed, has gotten much smaller, and we travel a lot. So where is the release valve, right? You either are working out, yoga, meditation, right? Or like you go to a bar, you'll see everybody just trying to take the edge off at night. I realized that I was taking that edge off at night, but after COVID, I was taking it off too much, and I stopped drinking. And I started doing a lot of different natural ways of reducing my weight. And I got a little 7-year-old girl, and I survived cancer. I'm hungrier now than ever before, to the point where my poor staff is like, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
Right. I know, that's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah, because
congrats.
Listen, think about it, I'm 55. The Golden Girls were in their late 40s, and Captain Steubing was like 47 years old. I feel younger. I feel like I'm going to live forever, and I'm not going to waste this shit.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's all mindset. If that's what you believe, and you wake up every day, you can't be talked into anything else.
And I got a smoking hot wife. I mean, because if I'm in the dirt, she's going to be married like 3 hours after I'm gone, so I better.
Hey, but Daymond, you can joke about that, but that's true.
It is true. She's smoking hot, and before I'm in the dirt, she's going to be gone. So, and I want my little girl to see who I am. I want her. I want to walk her down the aisle. That's more important than anything else. All right. Well, it's all about legacy for you, and you're going to make a lot more money along the way by doing it the right way. I hope. But if I don't make more money, who gives a shit, right? It's about, I'm going to make change. I want to leave my little girls a legacy instead of an inherency, and I want them to be able to say, my father hopefully changed a couple of people's lives the same way that the amazing people that I may never hear of who sacrificed their life for me have now influenced me. Well, if you've got too much to spend, I can help. Yeah, you call me. Yeah, I'm available. I'm only 15 minutes from the Sony lot. I can come meet you. Yes. Shit. Hey, finally, are you excited to show off some of those tattoos in inked? Oh yeah, just some surprises. Anything? I'm definitely going to show off some of those tattoos in ink. I don't know. I can't pull my shirt up there, but yeah, that's my little girl. You see, it's a little ashy right there. Remember, I'm black. But yeah, Arlo is probably one of the top. He's probably in the top 20. And he does all my art, but he's probably in the top 20 around the world when it comes to this. And his wife is in the top 20 as well, Ryan. So beautiful, beautiful people, but the art is absolutely amazing. Well, we're fans. We really appreciate your association with Jetset all these years. Looking forward to getting you on those 2 covers. We love it. I am so honored. It is an honor, and I love what you're doing for the business community and bringing the insight, as well as now, listen, all our amazing artists, the tattoo artists, and it's amazing. Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you for coming out here for me. My pleasure. Entrepreneur, the way you set it up and just boom, you were here. All right. Always, okay? All right, hey, thanks. The great Daymond John right here. Tom Zenner, Jetset TV.